Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Haley. Today is the first episode of a new series that I'm starting called Slow Saturdays with Me. The idea with this series is to have more casual conversations about topics that I am passionate about and that are meaningful to me. So mainly on minimalism, simplified living, and just slowing down in our fast-paced world. And today I just want to chat a little bit about the relationship between minimalism and the authentic self, and how minimalism has actually allowed me personally to connect to my authentic self and show up as my authentic self more and more each day. This video is kindly sponsored by Aura. I've been reflecting a lot recently on what causes me to lose that sense of authenticity that brings me inner peace, that gives me lasting joy, even in the smallest moments of my life, and that makes me feel fulfilled and satisfied with my life. You know, what is it that causes me to lose sight of that and to lose that connection to my authentic self? And it all comes back to excess. When there's excess in my life, when there is too much stuff, when I am trying to do too many things in one day, when I am spending too much time scrolling on social media, it's almost as if a shell is formed around my heart, so to say. Let's just say my authentic self is my heart. It's like a shell is formed around it, and I have such a hard time connecting to my authentic self because my focus is elsewhere on less meaningful endeavors. I guess I get lost in the sauce. When I spend too much time on social media, I begin to compare myself to others, and I begin to focus on what's wrong in my life and what can be improved and what I can fix and what can be better. And when I start accumulating too much stuff, physical goods in my life, I know that I'm focusing too much on how things look, how things appear, and seeking external validation in a sense. And when there's too much on my to-do list, more than a reasonable amount of things to get done in an hour or even a day, I lose touch with my heart and my feelings in a sense, because it's almost as if I become robotic. You know, I'm going through the motions to get the things done that need to be done. So it got me thinking that I don't think one's authentic self can actually be found in external factors, despite what we are told on social media, through advertisements, and by our culture, essentially. We're convinced that if we, chase after an aesthetic, if we wear a certain thing, if we make a certain amount of money, if we have or obtain a certain thing, that we'll be fulfilled, we'll feel satisfied. And I don't think it's true. And I think it's been very harmful for my generation, and it's going to be harmful for younger generations as well. It really worries me for my daughter and the world that she's going to grow up in, because lasting satisfaction does not come from external factors. It comes from living as your most authentic self. Just a few years ago, I was focused on the wrong things. I was focused on things that were not allowing my authentic self to flourish, and it was causing me to be on this never-ending hamster wheel of seeking satisfaction, because it was always fleeting. I always came up short, whether that was searching for external validation through social media, searching for a feeling of satisfaction with acquiring new things for my wardrobe. All of those external things that I was focusing on were not truly important. In fact, I'd say now that they were quite meaningless, because none of the things that I was focusing on allowed me to be my most authentic self. I was always trying to keep up with somebody else. I was always trying to portray a certain image, be a certain way. And it's only now, in having less input in my life, less time on social media, if any, less stuff, less mindless activities, where I'm able to experience how things make me feel. One of the more practical ways that I try to reconnect with my inner self, especially when I'm feeling a little bit misaligned and when excess has, creeped into my life, is by meditating and kind of just sitting in solitude and with my own thoughts, because I think that with so much noise around us, it's really important to do this even just every few days. So the app that I use is called Aura. It is an all-in-one mental well-being and sleep app. They have hundreds of different options for you to choose from meditations to podcasts to even just simple soundscapes that you can play in the background. You can choose coaches that you feel good listening to. And for me personally, this app has been great for just taking those few moments out of my days to sit with my thoughts and just feel what I'm feeling in the moment, whether that is satisfaction, whether that's gratitude, or even on a bad day. If you'd like to give this app a try, you can use my link in the description to get a free trial, and the first 500 people will also get an exclusive 25% off discount. My focus has become so much more pure because it's aimed at the things that are important to me, and those things that are important are what allow my authentic self to flourish. I guess what I'm trying to say is that when there is so much input and so much noise in our lives, it becomes very difficult to figure out what those important parts of our lives actually are that allow us to be ourselves. I'm not my authentic self when I am posting things on social media for likes and external validation. I am not my authentic self when I am constantly trying to acquire new things because I saw somebody else that had it, or because I felt dissatisfied with what was in my own home or in my own wardrobe. Those are not the parts of life that allow me to be my authentic self. The focus is in the wrong place. But because there is so much noise and so much input nowadays through social media especially, I think that's probably the main culprit, it's difficult to keep sight and keep sense of who we are at our core. I think that's why it's become so essential for me to remove excess and limit the possibility of excess occurring in my life, because I know that overconsumption and that constant chase for more pulls me away from my authentic self every single time. I think right now, more than ever, it's really, really important to identify what's truly important in our lives. But in order to figure that out, we've got to reconnect with our inner selves, and we're not going to be able to do that through external factors. That's why I think minimalism is a tried and true way to reach lasting satisfaction in one's life. It's not easy because of, the constant noise and input that we're surrounded by. It's an ongoing process. I would say it's a lifelong commitment for sure, but it is possible. And I think that once you get a little taste of what it's like to live as your authentic self, when all of that excess is kind of removed, it's really hard to not want more of it and to want to work towards having less input in your life. So that wraps up today's Slow Saturday. I hope that you had some thoughts while you were listening to this. If you did, feel free to comment them down below so that we can have some conversations. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening along, and I will see you in the next one.